Hey guys, it's Seren the Healer. I'm back with another weekly energy reading. This week we're looking at the 29th of May through June the 4th, and I did not get all cute. I have been waiting for my clean house energy to come in, and it came in on Monday, and I have just been going ever since, so I look a mess. So instead, we are looking deep into these cards, okay? So the first card that I have here, these two are flipped over because they turned over when they came out. The Drifter card actually came out before I finished my prayer. It flipped out of the deck and I put it back in and kept shuffling. And then after I finished my prayer, I shuffle, to pull the card, and this one came out as well as two others, but this is the only one that landed face up, so I took this one because I had seen it, when I was shuffling. But when I stopped and looked at it, this card actually gave me a whole vision, and it reminded me of back in 2019. I was gifted the Wild Unknown archetype deck by a client, and I went through and I wanted to kind of interview with each of the cards as I had read that you're supposed to. And when I got to the Shapeshifter card, it gave me an entire moment with that energy. It was really dope, and I don't think I've ever actually shared that on my channel. I used this deck for probably the first year of being on YouTube, but I don't think I actually shared that story. So when I first read the Shapeshifter, it kind of gave me a sad feeling because the connotation that I had behind that, the idea, the understanding that I personally had behind that, was someone who is never their authentic self because they're always trying to shift and change and people please and be something that they think somebody else deems appropriate, right? But when I sat to meditate after staring into that card for a few seconds, I immediately was pulled into this dark place, right? And all I could see was darkness. And this hand came at me. It came at my face out of the darkness, and it transformed into three different things as it was reaching. It was an elephant trunk. It was something else I can't remember. And as it got to my face, it took some glasses off of my face and retracted back into the darkness, and I was able to see all kinds of stuff that was there, right? But I had those lenses on and wasn't aware of them, and the Shapeshifter came in and changed my focus, right? And so I had a whole, dope ass channeling time of journaling about that. Of course, I didn't realize I could channel back then. I was just writing down what I saw. But this Drifter card, it kind of did the same thing. At first, I was looking at it as someone who is going through, turbulence and turmoil and, all these things, and they're terrified and they have no idea what's going on, and they're just at the mercy of the universe or the waters or whatever this tunnel is that they're in, right? But experiencing life as it comes, right? That being a 5 card, it's about everything changing or something very significant changing around you, right? And I also have a strong connection with this deck to the human design gates. They even have the same exact amount of these cards as there are human design gates, and the 14 is actually a very powerful gate. It has to do with your own energy being what guides you and your guiding force, your beat, your path in your life, right? So there are two channels side by side that kind of are similar to that. Anyway, it feeds into the 2, which is a very strong intuition, very strong feminine energy, receptivity gate. And so noticing all of that after I had this vision was a really cool little experience for me. And I feel like that energy is going to be very, very indicative of what we experienced this week. When I looked at human design and the gates that we're traveling through, we're going to finish up with the gate 16, which is about, working on something, using your repetitive, energy, practicing, going over and over and over something in order to master it and really lock it in so that you know it backwards and forwards, and all of the little pitfalls and experimental things that happen along the way with something like that. And we're going from that gate, and then around midweek sometime we're going to shift into the 35, which is another gate about experience, right? So it's it's just seemed very, very direct, very specific, and I'm really excited to turn these cards over. I haven't looked to see what they are yet. I just didn't want to spend a bunch of time shuffling on camera. If that bothers you guys, that you don't see me shuffle, let me know in the comments, and I'll go back to the other way of just fast forwarding through it. But as a manifesting generator, I'm like, efficiency, come on, let's get get to it. So the other card that came out, the reason why it's face up already, it's our chakra card for the week. It's the card number 18. It is a solar plexus chakra card, and it flipped over when it came out of the deck, so I went ahead and left it face up. And it being a driving force of the power of your purpose, right? Staying on target, focusing on the point, why you're here, why you're doing what you're doing, right? And then that drifter energy, I feel like they're very they seem opposite, but they're actually complementary. It's like zooming out and thinking about, okay, what is the overall goal here? The details, the small stuff that I can't control, right? Or, whatever it is, the periphery, the things that I can't control, I have to surrender to that because I have no choice, right? I have to just experience this and see what's in it that I can take with me and use going forward, right? See what I can learn and understand and grow from. Whereas this is about controlling your focus, right? So it's like two different, very, very vastly different ways of saying the same thing. There is power in your focus. There's power in controlling your focus. I say that all the time, right? So these two guys, I noticed there's a lot of blue, there's water, there's a lot of emotional energy, right? The 16 is actually a manifesting gate. The 35, actually, you know what? Is 35 a manifesting gate too? I think it is. I think they're both throat gates. Let me double check that. Yeah. So we're looking at culmination, things coming together, evidence of what you've been working on, evidence of what you've been working towards mastering, right? So something with the whole idea of mastery, right, is that there's not really a ding, a bell that goes off and says, all right, you have mastered this. You're good. You can stop studying it. You can stop feeling like a novice or like a newbie, right? You have to kind of claim that and acknowledge it for yourself, right? And unless you're doing an actual master's program and you get a certificate at the end where they're like, okay, you're done. You have mastered this, right? But when it comes to, life, spirituality, when it comes to things that don't have a set step 1, step 2, step 3, kind of thing, something that you've been trying to figure out for yourself that you're trying to master, you have to kind of decide, all right, I own this now. I understand this well enough to say, hey, I am a blank, right? So with that type of energy, with that idea, that overall, let's get into this and look at what the cards say. And I'm also going to pull a card from this deck. I literally just, sorted through and found this guy. But I'm going to pull a card from this deck as well this week, where I usually just do these. Something about that nostalgia of seeing that card made me want to get them out. I feel like maybe that's what I am meant to do.